Hi, I'm Diane, your host of Epic Conversations, and we're back again with David McClure. We're continuing our series on leadership, and David has some great experiences in the area of leadership of 170 people that he needs to oversee. So thank you for joining us. And David, we've talked about discipling your people, and then this just keeps growing. And then we've talked about vision. In the previous episodes, we've talked about direction. And today, we're going to talk about expectations. So tell me about expectations.
Well, and first I'd just say to your listeners that the things we've already talked about, we have just scratched the surface. There is so much more depth to it. I'm just trying to give some good expectations, good experiences that I have, good and bad, to get me to where I've developed my leadership philosophy, which is something I didn't even plan on mentioning, but our team went through 2 years ago and wrote what our leadership philosophy was, each one of us. I'd never heard of that, and my previous boss is the one who led with that. And so it's a great exercise. I encourage everybody to do. You can Google it. It will give you an idea of what it is, but it's really just something that if I give you my leadership philosophy, you can read through that. Oh, this is how David thinks, and this is why his expectation is what it is.
I like that.
It just came to me. It's a gift. Sometimes it's curse, sometimes it's gift.
But it makes it clear. If I know how you think, I'll know what you're expecting from me.
Exactly. And so the reason I even bring up expectation as part of leadership philosophy is sometimes leaders think, last time we talked about direction, okay, I trust you, you've got experience, and I tell you, go do that, or go do this. But expectation is, I have to set the expectation of you as well as the expectation of myself. You expect something out of me. Whether I tell you what it is or not, you have an expectation of me as your leader, and I have an expectation of you as my employee. But if neither one of us verbalizes that, which is what my boss and I did in the last episode I talked about, we sat down and I shared my expectation of him, he shared his of me, and we came to a place of agreement, and we have a phenomenal relationship now. So expectation is something as a leader I need to lead with. I need to make it clear to you, here's what I expect out of you. And perfection is not one of them. Let's just start with that. But here's what I expect out of you. Well, if I have a team, which I do, all leaders have a team. So when I have my team meetings every week, I have 7 people in there. And each one has a different area of responsibility. But I set the expectation of each one of them, first off, for their area of responsibility, but I set the expectation for this meeting, what I expect out of each one of them in our team meetings, and part of that is unity.
That's good, unity.
And it doesn't mean that we all agree. People think unity, they're just unified, they're just a bunch of talking heads. Not at all.
They're not like clones.
No. I expect unity on, we can struggle, we can, grind against each other to come up with that great goal or that great direction. And that's the unity. Getting to unity is hard. It takes, you're going to perspire, you're going to, how much longer? But out of that comes unity. But to get the unity, the next thing is that I demand, and I use that word intentionally, I demand it, is respect. We will respect each other, even though we're all different. We will respect each other and their viewpoint. And so if we all respect each other, that means I'm going to give you my undivided attention when you're talking and listen to what you're saying so I can comprehend to see how that lines up with what we're trying to get unified on. And out of the respect, a relationship will come. See, a lot of people think you have to have the relationship to respect each other, and sometimes that's true. But if you learn to respect each other and the gifts that you bring to this table, a relationship will form. well, I just know, Diane's different than I am, but I know she's going to bring something great. And man, I just really enjoy working with her because of the relationship we've developed, because of the respect that I've given you. That's the thing about it. I had to give you respect.
It's two-way street.
Yes.
Employee, employer, employer, employee. It's both. It works both ways.
Yes. And we talk about the office of the president. We respect the office even if we don't always agree with whoever is president at a given time.
Yes, that's a good example.
We will respect that. And so if you hold the position of my training supervisor, I'm going to respect that position, and as such, I'm going to learn to respect you as a leader of that. And so expectation is, first off, clearing or stating it clearly what my expectations are of you, and you having the right and the freedom to say, well, David, I expected this out of you as my boss, and you didn't deliver on it. And then we can talk through it. There may be good reasons why I didn't, and you're like, oh, that makes perfect sense. And it may just be I failed. Any leader who thinks they are above failure, the only one they're fooling is themselves, because the rest of us know they're going to fail.
Failure is part of success. All successful people have failed.
Yeah. So the expectation is the thing that leaders sometimes are afraid to put in writing, to put out, to say, Diane, I expect this out of you. And if you start with that, and maybe you disagree with that, I say, Diane, I expect this, and out of you. And you say, well, David, let's talk about this one here. I think that expectation is unfounded or too much. Well, let's talk about it so that at the end, we get unified on what the expectations are, what I expect out of you and what you expect out of me. It has to be there. It has to.
It is, and I like the fact that you're saying the respect, that's both ways too. The unity, you can't have unity without respect.
Exactly.
Almost. I mean, it's two ways.
Mm-hmm.
And because a relationship requires two people. It can't all be like one person dictating, this is the way you do it, no questions asked, and I don't care what you have to say, and that doesn't, I mean, maybe that's the military, I don't know, I never been in the military. But this sounds awesome. I mean, it does sound, I'm trying to remember the scripture verse. I think it's in Psalms 133 about unity flowing from the head down. And it's a beautiful thing. It's like an oil and an ointment.
Yeah.
And that brings out, there is an expectation. And that as you're sharing, I'm sensing a freedom and a real relationship. And that it's like a well-oiled machine that's going to.
Yeah. And people will talk about in any leadership training, leadership of anything, you're going to hear, okay, when the door opens from the meeting, we all are going to go this direction. Now, it doesn't mean in a room that we all agreed. You had your idea, I had my idea, but at the end, a decision was made.
That's right.
And a decision may be a majority decision. It may just be the leader said, okay, I've heard all your ideas. Here's the direction we're going to go. And maybe it was none of those. Maybe the leader had a preconceived idea that after hearing all of your inputs, decided that his or her direction is still the best direction. So when the door opens, we're all walking out there saying, okay, here's what we're going to do. And not saying, well, David decided to do this. I didn't agree with it. But to get to that place that even if we disagreed in there and you didn't think the direction we landed on was the best one, unity and respect and relationship says when that door opens, we're going to tell our teams, here's what we've decided to do.
That's right. As everybody's, yes, because they're in unity, even though it may not have been their idea. They're in unity.
And the unity is just that, yes, I've agreed that as a team, whatever the final decision is, I'm behind it. That's unity. It's not that I like the idea, but I'm behind the idea because we agreed to be unified when the door opened.
That's powerful. Thank you.
You bet.
Oh, yeah, that is powerful. I hope you caught that. And we're going to have more episodes with David coming up on leadership, so stay tuned. And we appreciate you joining us. If you're really enjoying the episodes, please subscribe to the channel and share it with a friend. In the meantime, have an epic day in the Lord.